Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michaela. Hi, how you doing? Today I am going to be talking about my tips or my strategies that I use to save money. Now I want to preface this with not everyone's going to agree with what I'm going to say, or potentially not everyone's going to be able to do what I'm going to say, and that is absolutely fine. This is just what I do, what helps me, and I thought maybe sharing my thoughts might help someone else, so I figured why not give it a go, you know? Even if you find one thing in this video that you think, oh shit, I'm gonna try that, you know, that's a win for me, that's enough. Also, they're not crazy, you know? It's not like out of this world things. You probably do half of them already, but again, maybe someone will find some help in this, and I just really like to yap, and I haven't had anyone to yap to lately, so unfortunately you're my sacrifice. Okay, I've got a couple of different, like, categories, I guess you could call them. They're all written down on my phone, as per, so if you see me looking down here, it's because I have to read this shit, because we all know what I'm like when I don't write things down. I just waffle and then nothing makes any sense. So, let's get started. My first one actually doesn't have a category. It's just the thing that I found lately that was really dragging me down, and I didn't even know. I had no idea. So I wanted to start like straight out the gate with this one thing, and it's subscriptions. Cancel what you don't need. Know what you're paying for, and maybe keep a better eye on them than what I was, because I was spending a whole lot of money that I didn't realize I was spending. And I'm going to go a little bit in depth with it for you for my experience, just to help you realize, because if you're like me, maybe you didn't, and then you wonder where all your money has gone all the time. Firstly, what I do is I bulk group my payments together so that I know what I'm paying a month for these things. So everything is a month, even though my payments might come out weekly or something like that. A lot of these, if not all of these, are automatic payments, so they're very easy to forget that you have, which is exactly what I did. So when I started this and had a quick look at it, I had PlayStation Plus, Nintendo Shop, BeFunky, which is a photo editing app, a photo converter app, storage unit, the gym, CapCut, and Disney Plus. All going. All of them. Why did I need all of them? Shocker, I didn't. So what I did was I went through and I cancelled PlayStation Plus, Nintendo, my photo editing, and my photo conversion apps. Now, for payment wise, PlayStation Plus for me is $15.95 a month. Nintendo Shop was $6.55 a month. BeFunky Plus was $14.99 a month, and the photo conversion app I was using was $20.89 a month, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but if you add all of those together, and I'm going to put it on the screen here so that I don't have to do it right now, that's a little chunk of money that I was paying that I didn't even realize I was paying. Now, I kept the storage unit, which is in New Zealand, which obviously we're storing stuff in, so I can't just decide not to pay that. My gym, and that is mostly because I go through phases of going to the gym and not going to the gym, but I locked into an 18-month contract. So if I cancel that, I have to pay a really exorbitant fee, and I don't want to do that. I kept CapCut because that's what I use to edit my YouTube videos, and I kept Disney Plus because I'm currently watching things on them. So with all of those together, my storage unit is $100 a month, the gym is $54.80, I really need to go more, CapCut is $14.99, and Disney Plus is $15.99. So if I've done my math right, again it should be here, I believe it's about $186, which is still quite a bit to be paying a month for subscriptions, but at least I know now when I get paid to leave $200 in my account untouched at all times for these subscriptions. Then I'm not going to be surprised by anything. Right, Michaela? Also, just little tips that I'm sure you're all currently aware of is that if you do have double ups of things like, what do you want to call them, Disney Plus, Netflix, Prime, Crunchyroll, all those really good ones that we love to use, don't double up on them. Don't be paying for them at the same time, because let's be real, can we watch 2 TV shows simultaneously? No, not really, unless you're really talented, in which case go off. Just pay for one at a time, my friends. I pay for Disney Plus, Mark pays for Netflix, because he watches stuff on Netflix, I watch it on Disney, and then we just share, you know, so that works. Or alternatively, watch everything you want to watch on Disney, end your membership, start one on Netflix, that kind of thing. You don't need to be paying for them all at the same time. Or, like what Mark and I do, maybe share with friends. One of you each pay for something, share the memberships. Don't tell them I said to do that. I'm not sure if it's illegal or not. That's on you. The only other thing I want to say about subscriptions is if you have something like a gym membership, now I can't do this with my one just because of the type of gym and membership it is, but if you do have a gym membership that allows you to bring a friend at no charge, you should start doing that because one, not only are you going to have a gym buddy to go with, but two, if you're going together regularly and on a schedule, you can share the cost of that membership and that makes it way more cost effective. Also, if they have things like showers, outlets, changing rooms, use all of that stuff to your advantage. Shower at the gym so you're saving your water bill. Style your hair using the outlets at the gym so you're saving your power bill. I know it sounds like really stupid tiny things that maybe you don't want to do, but if you're paying that membership to be there, you might as well use what amenities they're offering you, right? Get your money's worth is all I'm saying. My first kind of proper category is go low or no spend, and I know a lot of people already live like this because of, you know, income. Maybe you're a single income, maybe inflation is just absolutely kicking your ass, just whatever. So this is more for people like me who have a little bit of extra money and just have a really bad spending problem. I'm going to be honest about it. I like to spend money. I earn money, I like to spend it. So this is for you people who are thinking about going low or no spend. I treat it like a challenge because I love a challenge and it makes me want to do it rather than just being like, oh, I can't spend money, said I wouldn't. You know, that sounds lame. Who wants to do that? If you think too much restriction is going to put too much pressure on you, try starting out with just restricting yourself from buying in certain categories, whether it's you stop buying takeout or you stop buying clothes for yourself or something like that. I have found that a really good way to start because, like I said, spending issues, I find it very, very difficult to go cold turkey. So sometimes I'll just say, right, this month, no new clothes. Next month, no takeout. Actually, takeout's a really bad one for me. That's a bad example. But, you know, things like that. Starting small, build your way up. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation. You know, you can make your own rules. It's your life. It's your savings. If you think something's going to work better for you, do it. If you know that you have enough clothes for the winter, don't go buying any more winter clothes, love. You know, just small changes. And you can either add more rules over time and make those like categories of things you're not allowed to buy in larger, or you can sub in one and one out. You know, if you know you've got a wedding or a birthday party coming up that you really want to buy a new outfit for, maybe sub out that rule for not buying takeout that week or that month or something like that so that it kind of evens out the costs in a way. When I did my very first no spend, I went full no spend, and then anytime that I had to spend money I ended up feeling really horrifically guilty for it. I have a whole video about it on my channel. If you guys want to go and watch that, go find it. But if you're a person like me who is really hard on yourself, if you break a rule or make a mistake or something like that, maybe just subbing categories in and out and having a bit of lenience on yourself is the best way to kind of view this challenge. Allow yourself some fun money. Just because you're saving doesn't mean, you know, that you can't spend money ever, that you can't still have fun things and live your life and enjoy the money that you have worked so hard for. So either work into your budget a little bit of spending money, whether it's enough to buy yourself a coffee every morning or lunch once a week, or maybe you save up a couple of weeks worth of spending money and buy something that you've really had your eye on. Like, don't pressure yourself to not allow the good things in your life. If you can afford it, you know, if you can afford $5 a day or $10 a day to buy yourself a little snack, go for it. Don't make yourself miserable just to save money. It's just not worth it in the long run. I've been there, I've done that, it does not help. Also, a way that you could do it if you wanted fun money was selling items that you no longer need, want, or use, and then using the money from those sales as your fun money. So not only are you getting rid of clutter, moving things onto a home that's going to appreciate them, encouraging reusing and reselling, but you've got that little bit of fun money and it actually hasn't come out of your budget at all. It gives you freedom to have as much fun money as you want to have, as you're willing to give yourself. And the last one for me is, obviously I have kind of already said it, treat it like a challenge. Think about what you're saving for. Make, you know, a visual goal so that you can see yourself working up to that. What are you saving for? what is the reward for all of this work that you're doing, you know? Whether it is something big like you're trying to pay off a debt or you're trying to go on a trip or something like that, you've really got to remind yourself every single day that this is what I'm working for, this is the reward that I'm giving myself for making these sacrifices. And if you're a person like me who does find it hard to do things long term because your girl gets distracted real easily, maybe give yourself like little savings goals along the way that when you hit them you get like a mini treat or something like that, you know? Maybe if you're doing no takeout for a long period of time, when you get to your first savings goal, you allow yourself to go to a nice restaurant or buy your favorite takeout or something like that. Remember, it's all about give and take. It's not being about being miserable all the time and being hard on yourself all the time just so that you can get to this one goal where if it's a vacation, you know, you might live free for a week and have a really great time and then go back to being immediately miserable again. That's not what life is supposed to be like. My next set of tips is really aimed at myself as well. Maybe I'm not making this as an advice video for others. Maybe I just need to replay it on my computer to remind myself of this. But it's based around impulse spending. I'm really good at it. So a couple of things, and I'm not going to pretend that I do these all the time. Look, nobody's perfect. Leave the cards at home. I don't do this personally because I do not carry cash. I have not carried cash for years, but if you are a person like me who does really struggle with impulse spending and you don't mind carrying cash, leave the card at home. Take only enough that you'll have what you need to spend for the day, whether you know you're going to need to buy lunch or get a taxi or an Uber or something like that, or take enough to get you by in an emergency, and that's it. Because how can you spend what you don't have, what you literally don't have? Obviously it's a little bit harder if you have things like Apple Pay on your phone, but I think that's kind of just the part of this where you've got to be like, hey, I got to have some self-control. I got to hold myself to this and not let myself pay on my phone. You know, that one's on you. Can't help you with that one. My second one, and this one I actually do adhere to all the time. I have never and will never do these things, but it is stop using any forms of Afterpay, lay-by, credit card, blah, 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 blah. I will preface this by saying I do have a credit card, but it is only for travel. It is a $5,000 limit credit card, which is the smallest one that we could get, and it is purely for when we go traveling. If we get in an emergency and need to buy flights home, that is there. That is the only reason that I have a credit card. But in all other terms of it, if you are a person who has a problem with spending outside of their means or making impulse purchases, stop using Afterpay. Stop using lay-by. Stop using all those things. I know that lay-by is really great for things like Christmas, and I think that is a good reason to use it because then you've got the item on hold and the ability to pay it off over months. But I don't think they're healthy for the wallet. That's just my opinion. I'm very sorry for those who don't agree with it. Maybe we can have a discussion. I'm open to it. But someone once said to me that if you can't afford it twice, you can't afford it. Especially with impulse purchases. This is not for large purchases. Please keep that in mind. But if you walk into a store, say you're going to Kmart and you need socks, and you see a mirror with lights on it because you know they're fucking everywhere. If you don't have the money to pay for that item twice in your wallet, you can't afford it. I'm sorry, but if you didn't come in there with the plan to buy it, and you're just buying it on an impulse or a whim, or because, oh my god, it's really cute and I want it, do you need it? Do you need it? Can you actually afford it? If you can't afford to buy it up front and you can't afford to buy it up front twice, you don't need it. That one's probably going to make people angry, but oh well. The next one is sit on it. It's just what I call it. I do this one all the time. It is make a list of items that you've seen, or even links if you've found it online, and sit on it. Don't buy that thing. Wow, clapped at myself. Don't buy that thing straight up. Right then and there, sit on it, think about it. Maybe make yourself a little rule that you can only buy things on Sundays, or you can only buy things on the last day of the month. And then have your list of items to go back to on that day, so that we're not buying things the second we see them, because let's be real, most of our impulse purchases, we get them home, you use them for the day, and then you forget you've even bought them. I know, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not judging you, I'm judging myself. But I'm just putting that out there, that the thing that works for me is, you know, if you've had this item sitting in a list for a month, by the time you go back and get to it, you're going to be like, what even was that? Where did I see that? Especially if you're not putting links like me. I just write descriptions of like the store that I saw it in and what it was. Quite often I'll end up sitting there and be like, what is that? What was I even talking about? I don't even remember wanting that item, and that's another really, really great indicator that I didn't bloody need it. Lastly for this one, keep stock of what you have at home. I just did the rule of sevens recently, where I went through my drawers and I wrote down everything that I own to make sure that I didn't really have more than about 7 or 8 items in each sort of clothing category. And so now I keep a stock of what I have at home at all times. So I'm actually going to go out later today and I'm going to go shopping, because it's fine to go shopping. It's fine to spend your money and buy things if that's what you want to do. But I'm making sure that I'm buying the right things. So I learnt doing my rule of sevens that I have an overabundance of t-shirts, because when I think to myself, I don't have anything to wear, I gravitate towards shirts. And that's actually not what I needed at all. So when I go out today, I am banned. I'm not allowed to buy shorts or t-shirts. The only thing I can really buy are dresses, skirts, or jackets. And that's absolutely fine, because that is what I need. It's satisfying my personal need to spend money and shop, because that's something that I struggle with, that I want to do. And I'm not telling myself I can't do that. I'm just telling myself to do it strategically so that I am actually benefiting myself and not just creating a bigger problem. And you can do this for lots of things. You can do it with food, clothes, products, like your skincare, hair care, things like that. I'm not saying don't buy anything ever again because you're saving money. I'm saying make sure you're buying the correct things. You don't need 4 bottles of shampoo or 5 different moisturizers, It's just buy what you need, when you need it, as you need it. Maybe have a backup. I do have a backup. I typically have an extra shampoo, conditioner, body wash, because everybody hates running out mid-shower, okay? You know you do. This is the last category I have. Don't worry, I'm almost done with my rambling. I'd be surprised if you made it this far, because these are opinions that people probably aren't going to agree with, and you know what? That's absolutely fine. If you are here, I appreciate you. This is for long-term and larger purchases. So, not impulse spending. Okay? We're not talking about a jumper, we're talking about like a phone or like a house or something in this one. Okay? Keep a spreadsheet of all exact payment amounts and when they are due, so that you know what is coming out of your account and when. My second point also kind of lines up with this, so I'll go into it right now, and it's trying to line up similar payments together. So I'm talking about things like your phone, your insurance, your power, your water, things like that. Your bigger bills that you can't avoid, that you have to pay. I'm just saying know when they are due. Obviously with things like power, it's going to vary. You don't know exactly the amount that it's going to be every month, but what you can account for is when it's going to be due. And then when I say line them up, I just mean try and line up, because I know not all companies do it, so this one's a little bit hard, but with some companies you can request the actual like date or week that they take these payments out of your account. So if you're able to do that, I would recommend lining up 2 of your smaller payments and then having a larger payment maybe like the next week or something like that, so that you don't have weeks where suddenly you're losing $400-500 worth of bills and then next week it's only 50 or 100, because this week that this large bill comes out, you're going to be absolutely desperate for money. You're going to be struggling because, oh my god, all of these bills just came out, I have to pay everything. But then when the next week happens, you're going to be like, oh my god, I have so much more money. There's so much extra. I can go and spend this. I can do whatever I want with it. It's this feeling of freedom because, oh my god, I don't have anything to pay. How good. Whereas if you can kind of even out your expenses and say have like your water bill and your phone bill together, and then maybe like your mortgage or your rent on a completely different week, it keeps your income looking a little bit more stable. And then there's no huge ups and downs and curves where one week you're struggling and the next week you're on like this euphoric high because you've got so much money. Try and keep your incomings and incomings and outgoings, holy. Try and keep your account as stable as possible is what I'm meaning. Try and keep those expenses looking as even as you can. Again, I know this is something that not all companies offer and it can be very, very hard to do, but if you can, it's nice to be able to have a little bit of control around what is coming in and out of your account and when. A lot of these things that I'm talking about are necessities, you know, you need power, you need water, you need a roof over your head, but we can try and dictate how we look after these things a little bit at least. This is another one that I'm very, very aware that not all people can do. Not all people have the luxury of being able to do a lot of things on this list, okay? I'm very aware of that. I'm not sitting here thinking that everyone is going to be able to do the things that I'm talking about. This is just sort of tips for people who can but are struggling to save, okay? I want to make that very, very clear if I haven't already. But for this one, it's credit accounts when you can. Now, like I said, you're not always going to be able to. I'm definitely not always able to. But when you can, if you're paying your power bill, you know, I like to pay an extra $10 or $20 every month during spring and summer. And I guess autumn a little bit too, because then when, keep in mind I'm from New Zealand, so we pay a lot for heating. So when winter comes around and your power bill massively spikes because all of a sudden you're paying to heat your house, you've already got credit in your account to kind of cushion that blow. And it's not like, these are just theoretical numbers, but it's not like you've suddenly gone from paying $100 a month for power to $250 a month for power, and there's nothing there to kind of accommodate that change or help you make that jump. So crediting accounts when you can helps just create a little bit of a cushion to help you make that adjustment and make it more of a hill to climb rather than a cliff to kind of jump up, if that makes any sense. Also, I know I talked about not having like lay-by and afterpay for impulse purchases, but I do 100% believe in automatic payments or paying off your larger purposes. So if you're someone who owns a house and pays a mortgage, obviously you'll already do this, but then if you have things like rates, a lot of people can pay their rates upfront every year when they come around. I for one certainly cannot, because that's a lot of money that I don't just have on hand ever. So making sure you have an automatic payment for things like rates, you can do it for things like school fees, all of those things like that. Having them come out on a monthly basis makes that end of year bulk payment that they request either a lot smaller for you to catch up on or have to find money for, or non-existent. I've always done that with my rates for my house. I will continue to always do that as long as I can. It means that I am never ever surprised with a sudden payment that I don't have money to cover. And I think that's great. So yes, I have a vendetta against lay-by and afterpay, but only for certain things. What else have I done? Now I'm just kind of spitballing it. What is actually surprisingly effective, or used to be very effective for me, was my friends would tease me because I was always selling something. They'd be like, you always have something for sale, you're always getting rid of your belongings, what are you doing? And I'm like, because what I used to do was I would sell my belongings, or, you know, whatever Mark and I didn't want, didn't use, and I would put all of that money aside and I would never ever touch it. I'm not going to tell you where, because that's my secret, where I hide my things. But I wouldn't touch it, and I wouldn't keep a log or anything like that because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know how much I had, because for me at least, knowing how much I have on hand makes it a lot easier to spend, because then you see an impulse purchase and you're like, oh my god, I've got the money for that, I'm going to go and do it. No. What I would do is I would take this money, I'd put it away, and I would not look at it. I'd count it maybe once every 6 months. And otherwise I'd just ignore it. I would ignore that it was there. And I loved it. That was great. I really need to go back to doing that. And while everybody's giving me shit for always selling my stuff and always having something on the go or always meeting someone or rotating things in and out of my house, I'm saving money, because doing that and forgetting that I had all those funds are what has paid for a lot of Mark and mine's travel. Because if I check it once every 6 months, I would be like, oh, I've got $1,000, I've got $2,000, that was a really good 6 months, maybe we've got 3.5 now. And I would only deposit it into the bank in $1,000 increments, and it would go into a saving account that we do not touch, absolutely no access to. I do also recommend, if you can, having a bank account in a separate bank than your everyday account. So Mark and I go across 3 separate banks that we have accounts with. And that is because we have stuff for, you know, long-term savings, we have stuff purely for our house, we have stuff for ourselves, and I don't like being able to actively see my savings money growing. Yes, I have the app on my phone for if I really need it, if we go traveling, something like that, but otherwise I like to blind save. I know a lot of people don't like that and a lot of people won't be able to do that, but I like to blind save. I put all my money aside, I don't even think about it, I don't look at it. Because if I know how much I have, I'm more willing to spend it, and I don't want to put that pressure on myself because I don't trust myself. Is that it? Battery's gonna die, so it better be. Okay, that's it. I know this was really quick and really rambly and there was kind of a lot of information that probably is not going to stick for 99% of people who watch this video, but I do hope, like I said in the beginning, if one person can find something in this that helps them, that will be enough for me. If you liked this, please leave me a like and a comment and subscribe for more of my content. I do all kinds of stuff and I post every single Sunday. Hold me to that. I will see you guys next week. Thank you again so much for joining me. Bye.